I was about to end my life. I had written the letter and my tears had already blurred the ink. I was ready to leave this world, to escape everything, to stop the pain that never seemed to end. But something strange happened. When I was about to pick up the knife, the photo frame of my late mother suddenly fell from the wall and hit my head. I fainted right there, and that one moment, just that one accident, changed everything that was about to happen. Before you listen to my story, put amen in the comments and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because what I'm about to tell you is not just a story. It's a miracle, a sign that God is real and he still works through love. My name is Jessica. I grew up in a small town, in a house filled with laughter, the smell of Mom's cooking, and my father's loud jokes echoing through the hall. We weren't rich, but we were happy. I had dreams, big ones. I wanted to become a police officer. My mom used to tell me, "You'll wear that uniform one day, Jess, and I'll be the proudest mother in the world." But when I was 9, everything changed. One day, my mom fainted in the kitchen. I remember the sound of the plate breaking, her body hitting the floor, and my dad's voice screaming her name. I didn't understand what was happening, but that day became the beginning of the end. Mom had cancer, stage 4. We tried everything: hospitals, temples, prayers. I watched her lose weight, lose her hair, lose her smile. And then one morning she was gone, just like that. The house went quiet. Her voice, her warmth, all gone. I didn't even know how to cry properly. I just sat near her photo for hours, waiting for her to call me. My father tried to manage everything, work, house, me, but it was too much. One night I overheard him talking to someone. He said, "Jessica needs a mother, I can't do this alone." Within a few months, he got remarried. At first, everything was okay. My stepmother was kind, soft-spoken. She would braid my hair, make me breakfast, and tell me stories. I started believing maybe this could work. Maybe God had sent her to help us heal. And then, after a year, my little stepbrother was born. The day he came home, everything changed. She changed. She stopped talking to me with affection. Her voice turned sharp, cold. She'd call me lazy, useless, and make me do everything from cleaning to cooking to babysitting. Dad didn't notice. He was busy with his work. Slowly, my life turned into a nightmare. I wasn't allowed to go out. I wasn't allowed to meet friends. If I made a small mistake, forgot to add salt to food, or spilled milk, she'd slap me. Sometimes she'd lock me in my room for hours without food. I started to fear her shadow. I remember once when I was 10, I was talking to a friend outside our gate. She saw us and screamed, "Do you have a boyfriend?" I didn't even understand what that meant. She dragged me home and slapped me so hard I fell. My cheeks burned, my heart broke. I cried in silence. That day I started writing letters to my dead mother. Letters I never sent. Letters filled with pain, questions, and prayers. When my father got transferred to another city, things became worse. He had to move away for work, and I was left alone with her. From that day, she completely stopped pretending. She didn't let me go to school. She made me wash clothes, clean the house, take care of my brother. If I said I was tired, she'd say, "Your real mother made me suffer. Now it's your turn." Sometimes I'd cry all night, looking at my mother's photo. I'd whisper, "Why did you leave me, Mom? Why did God give me this life?" Years passed like that. I grew older, but not freer. I wasn't allowed to have a phone. I wasn't allowed to have dreams. Every day I became a little more invisible. One day I met my old school friend in the market by accident. She almost didn't recognize me. My clothes were torn, my eyes sunken. She said, "Jess, what happened to you? File a police report." But what could I do? I had no proof, no support. My stepmother was clever. She'd act sweet in front of neighbors, cry in front of Dad on calls, and twist every story to make me look bad. Then came the day I completely broke. It was my birthday. No one remembered. She shouted at me all morning, made me clean the bathroom, and didn't even let me eat cake my neighbor brought me. That night, when everyone was asleep, I sat in my room, looked at my mother's photo, and whispered, "I can't do this anymore." I found a paper, a pen, and started writing. It was a letter. I wrote everything: how she treated me, how Dad never listened, how I had no one. I begged God to forgive me, but I couldn't bear the pain anymore. I looked at my mother's photo one last time. I whispered, "I'm coming, Mom." I reached out to take her picture frame to hold it close. and suddenly it fell hard straight onto my head. I fainted. When I opened my eyes, everything was blurry, but I saw her, my mom, dressed in white, glowing, smiling. She sat beside me, gently touched my head, and said, "No, Jessica, not this way. Your life is not meant to end in tears. You are stronger than your pain. You are my daughter, and God hasn't written the last page of your story yet." I started crying and said, "Mom, I can't do this anymore. Please take me with you." She smiled softly and said, "Not yet. There's something you need to do. Go to the women's center. Tell them everything. God will send people to help you." I woke up with tears all over my face, my head bleeding slightly from the frame. I looked at her picture. It was shattered, but her face was still clear in the glass. That moment, I knew it wasn't a dream. God had used my mother's spirit to stop me. The next morning, I gathered courage. My hands were shaking, but I went to a local women's NGO. I told them everything: the abuse, the beatings, the lies, the isolation. I showed them the scars on my hand. They didn't ignore me. For the first time, someone believed me. They helped me file an official complaint. When my father was called, he couldn't believe it. But when he saw the proof, photos, testimonies from neighbors who had heard her screams, he broke down. He realized what he had ignored all these years. The woman he trusted had tortured his daughter. My stepmother was arrested. She tried to act innocent, cried, screamed, but the truth had come out. And for the first time in years, I felt free. I started therapy, continued my studies, and joined the same NGO that saved me, helping other girls who suffered like me. I still wear my mother's locket. Every time I touch it, I remember the day she came back to save me. That day, I learned something. Sometimes God doesn't come as a voice from the sky. Sometimes he comes as a sign, a dream, a memory, a mother's spirit, a falling photo frame, just to remind you that he's still here, watching, loving, saving. So if you're listening to this and you're tired of life, if you're crying every night thinking no one cares, I want to tell you, don't give up. God hasn't finished your story yet. Because if he could bring my dead mother back to stop me from dying, he can do anything for you too. I was broken, but he rebuilt me. I was lost, but he found me. And today, I'm alive, not because of luck, but because God still saves.